What's up, Bookie Crushers, and thanks for showing up to this second live stream. So you can say hello in the comments to confirm that everything is going right. Can you hear me fine? I hope you are doing extremely well. I'm so pumped for this second live stream. So I see Brian McGuire, we have Earl, Justin, Robbie Vegas is here as well. Thanks everyone for being here. All right, so bonjour to Sean Chong. Today, my betting systems are suggesting to bet 4 different teams, and there is a 5th team that almost qualifies as well. And so that means I'm going to discuss those 5 potential wagers with you. But you know me, I like to give you some bonus stuff. And when I analyze through all of the other games, there was a 6th team that caught my attention. So in total, I'm going to review with you 6 potential bets for today in Major League Baseball. All right. So let's start with, I wanted to start with recapping yesterday's baseball bets that I made. I actually made 4 official picks. 2 of them were shared on YouTube, and the other 2 were paid picks on mjpicks.com. So I told you about the Mariners at the Red Sox, who lost because Luis Castillo had his worst outing of the year. He was really bad in that game. They got clobbered in Boston. We also took a shot on the Yankees at plus 160 odds in Toronto. And thank you to Aaron Judge for his nice 2-run blast in the 8th inning. And, oh, wait a second. I'm just being told right now that the ball finally landed. So it was a big home run. I'm still excited about it. A nice victory by the Yankees at plus 160 odds. Now, we also took a run to be scored in the first inning of the Angels against Orioles game. And thank you to Mickey Moniak, who hit a home run as the first batter of the game. So we put money in the bank very quickly. And we also took over 8.5 runs in the Royals versus Padres game. Now, in the end, a total of 9 runs were scored. So this was a close victory. So overall, we picked up 3 wins and 1 loss, and we're looking to do some more damage today together. All right, I feel like there's something I wanted to tell you. Okay, well, let's start with the big upset number 1, which is going to be the system responsible for the first 2 potential wagers for today. So here's how it works. It recommends betting any team that won its previous game at odds greater than plus 150. So that is my definition of a big upset. So how did we choose this threshold of plus 150, which by the way is the same as 2.50 in decimal odds? Well, that was obtained after analyzing data on 7 full seasons. So that was not picked out of a hat. And you also need the team in question that pull off the big upset to be facing the same opponent today. And their money line today must be smaller than plus 125. So we do not want them to be big underdogs once again. So can you guess which team fits that criteria? Let me show you my screen. So yesterday we picked the Yankees. The odds that we got were plus 160, but here covers.com says the money line was plus 155. But no matter what, that was viewed as a big upset. Now, so that fits the first criteria. The Yankees won the previous game as big underdogs. Are they facing the same opponent? Yes, they faced Toronto yesterday, and they are facing them again today. And is New York's money line today smaller than plus 125? Yes. So that means our system pick number 1 is the Yankees for the second straight day at the Blue Jays. This time, they are very, very small favorites at minus 109 odds. All right, now do I like this bet enough to make it an official pick? Or is it a lean? Or do I recommend avoiding it? All right, so let's dig deeper. During the last 17 visits of the Yankees at Toronto, they have posted a 13-4 record, which is awesome. Now we have Garrett Cole against Chris Bassitt on the mound. Now, Garrett Cole, in his first 7 starts, he allowed a total of 7 runs. That was amazing. And then in his last 2 starts, he faced the Rays in both occasions. And in those 2 starts, he surrendered a combined 7 more runs. So in other words, he struggled much more against Tampa, but in the other starts, he was astounding. Now, as far as Chris Bassitt is concerned, he is coming off a nice shutout of the Braves against Spencer Strider. And in fact, Bassitt has thrown 20 consecutive frames without allowing a run. The last time he allowed a run was a grand slam against Seattle in the first inning on April 30. But you know what? I believe that is a good thing for us. Because here's one thing that I've noticed that happens pretty frequently. You should pay attention to a pitcher that has thrown 15, 20, 25 straight innings without allowing a run. But when they do allow a run, it feels like things break down for them, and then they allow many more. And I feel that's what's going to happen to Bassitt. As soon as the Yankees will start hitting him, he will lose confidence and he could fall apart. And so, for all of those reasons, I am officially picking the Yankees once again to pick up the victory in Toronto. I know I have many followers from the Toronto region, so I apologize, but there's I have to go with what the numbers are telling me and what my analysis is telling me. All right, now we have another team that fits under the big upset number 1 system. Again, let me show you my screen. And let's browse through yesterday's scores on covers.com. You can see the Milwaukee Brewers won 3-2 in St. Louis, even though their money line was plus 155. So again, this was a big upset. All right, the other criterion were facing the same opponent. Well, they faced the Cards yesterday. They're facing the Cards again today. And is Milwaukee's money line today smaller than plus 125? It is. So, pick number 2, the system pick number 2 is the Brewers at the Cardinals. And just like the Yankees, they are small, very, very small favorites in St. Louis. Okay, now, do we view it as a pick, a lean, or should we avoid it? Well, in this case, we have Corbin Burns facing Matthew Liberatore. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing his name correctly. Now, Corbin Burns is having another solid season, but maybe not as great as the previous 3. Again, let me show you his numbers. Here. So this year he has an ERA of 3.35, but in the previous 3 seasons, he was below 3. And the same goes for his whip statistic, the walks plus hits per inning pitch. Remember that the league average is 1.30, so he's clearly below 1.30. And below 1 is really reserved to elite pitchers. And he managed to go below 1 in previous seasons, but this year he has 1.12. The big problem has been walks. He has allowed 18 walks in 45 innings, which is not super great. But still, you need to remember that in his first 2 starts, he was awful this year. He allowed 10 runs in those 2 starts. But then he only surrendered 7 more runs during his 6 next outings. So basically, he has turned the corner. He is back to his old form. Oh, by the way, if you were there in my live stream last week, you remember that one of the big problems from that stream was me coughing repeatedly, and I had forgotten to bring water, but not this time. So we won't have this problem today. I'm still a bit sick, but I'm feeling much better now. Now let's talk about the Cardinals starter, Matthew Liberatore, who was called up from AAA to give some rest to the St. Louis starters. Now last year, he appeared in 9 games, including 7 starts, and he was really bad in those outings. He posted a 5.97 ERA, and remembering that a whip statistic above 1.50 is bad, he posted 1.73. That was really awful. Now this year he has been doing a great job in AAA, but as you all know, the big leagues are not the same as AAA. So obviously there is a big edge on the pitching in the pitching duel for this game. So that makes me like the Brewers here. And now the icing on the cake is the Cardinals won 7 of 8 games, but now they lost yesterday a tight 3-2 game. They know they are facing a tough pitcher with Corbin Burnes, and then they are awaiting the Dodgers for 4 games. You know what? St. Louis might be feeling like things could fall apart starting today. So in my opinion, I am making the Brewers an official pick. This is our second official pick for today. All right. Let's hope for another good day today. When Aaron Judge hit that home run yesterday, I was so thrilled and I felt like bringing back the Lucky Lobster Bell. For those of you who have been following me for a while, you probably remember that bell. And I don't believe I've ever told a funny story surrounding this Lucky Lobster Bell. And my cousin, who is also my video producer, is watching right now. So he will find it pretty interesting that I'm telling this story to all of you. This bell was owned by my grandparents. It was in their basement. When I was a kid, we would be playing in the basement, and for some reason, everybody just loved that bell. And eventually my grandfather died, and then my grandmother died. So we had to empty their house, and all the family was there, and we were selecting things that we liked and that we wanted to keep. But when we got to that lobster bell, there were several people who really wanted it. So we did a random draw, and I was the lucky winner. And I'm sure that my cousin Francois, who is watching, is still pissed about losing that draw. All right, let's move on to the third pick, which is going to be backed by the snap losing streak number 2 system, which goes like this. Oh, and by the way, after I go through this third system pick, I'll look in the chat if there are some questions or comments. I'm sorry, I'm still not used to doing some live streams, so I may not be answering questions frequently enough right now because I'm so focused on things I have to share with you. But I will read them in a short while. So the snap losing streak number 2 system goes like this. It recommends fading the home team that won their previous game after losing at least 4 in a row. They must be facing the same opponent as yesterday, and their money line must be better than minus 200. Now, I've often received this question of what does that mean? The money line must be better than minus 200. That means it should be minus 199, minus 198, minus 197, and so on, or minus 150, minus 125. When I say it must be better, think about, let's say you want to bet a team and the money line is minus 200 with one specific sports book. Well, what would you consider to be a better line? What would make you happy? Well, I would be much happier to see another sports book offering me minus 180 than minus 220, right? Okay, so which team fits this criteria? Let's take a look at the Boston Red Sox recent schedule. As you can see, they lost 4 games in a row, which was one of the criteria needed, and they snapped that losing streak yesterday by winning 9-4 over Seattle. Now, let's go back here. So they did snap a long losing streak. They are facing the same opponent, the Mariners, and their money line today is much better than minus 200. In fact, the Red Sox are slightly favored at minus 120. Now remember that this betting system recommends fading them. In other words, you need to bet against the Red Sox, and this is why the third system pick is to go once again with the Mariners. So a strange coincidence. Yesterday, 2 of our official picks were the Yankees and the Mariners, and today my betting systems recommend again to bet the Mariners. But hold on, I recommend to avoid Seattle today. Why? Well, first of all, during the last 11 meetings between these two squads, the Mariners have a 2-9 record. So they have not had much success against Boston. On the mound, we have Marco Gonzalez for Seattle. Now, against the Red Sox in his career, he holds a 5.26 ERA, which is quite bad. Now, overall, he tends to be an average pitcher with average numbers. He's facing Brian Bello, who is a very young pitcher. If you look at his numbers this year, that's very uninspiring, with a 5.01 ERA and a whip stat of 1.59. But if you take a closer look, in his first 2 starts, he allowed 5 and 3 runs, but since then, he allowed 1, 2, and 2 runs, which is really good. And those last 2 outings were against the Braves and the Blue Jays, who both have potent offenses. So that's a really great improvement by Bello. And that makes me very uncomfortable betting the Mariners today in this meeting. And that's why I want to avoid them. All right, before I look at some of your questions or comments, I want to talk to you about, let me share my screen again. I want to tell you about my MLB prediction contest that you can access via mjpicks.com, which is a site that I got developed a few months ago. And one of the reasons was to run some free contests. All right, so if you go here to free contest, there is one running contest from May 15 to 21. Right now, it's pretty much too late to join, but I just want to tell you about it so that next week when we run it again, so that you participate. I've been quite surprised that we've had less than 100 people playing in that contest, even though it's completely free and you can win $50 US to the top prize finisher, while the people finishing second and third get free access to some of my picks. Right now, let's see the leaders after the first 2 days. We have B. Johnson, who had 17 correct predictions. It's a really simple contest where all you have to do is pick the winner of each MLB game every day for a full week. So my contest runs for 1 week, and the person with the most correct predictions at the end of the week wins $50 US. So B. Johnson is in good shape right now. There are many people with 16 points, including my friend Michael Kingdon. We have many more. We have Paul Richardson with 15 correct predictions, and so on. So hopefully you guys will join next week for this free and very, very simple contest. And by the way, when you sign up, you can choose to take a free plan where you basically get my free picks, and you will get them much faster than if you wait on YouTube, because it takes a while to produce my YouTube videos, obviously. And you get also a few more picks than those that you get on YouTube. All right, now let's go back. I said I would take a look at your comments. So we have Paul, who agrees with me. I would not bet Seattle. He took the Red Sox money line today. All right, so personally, I'm not going to bet the Red Sox, but I would certainly not go with the Mariners. So we have Ruben taking the over. Oh, he says, Diego, thank you for mentioning that Brian Bello, it's his birthday today, so he really wants that W. Well, that's great information. Thank you, Diego. If I miss the... John says, if I miss the first day, I can join the next day. You're probably talking about the prediction contest. You can try it. I'm pretty sure that you can still join, but obviously you almost have no chance of winning a prize because the leader already has 17 points and you have 0. So even if you miss one day, that's probably too costly. You can still play for fun, but you are unlikely to win. What's your opinion betting the Red Sox first 5, Professor? Is asking Julian Ruffin. Yeah, I'm not against that bet. I'm just wary about going against my betting systems. I do it occasionally, but I feel like I feel stupid when I go against my system and the bet loses. Obviously, it looks great when I do win, but as much as possible, I try not to do it. So I'm going to leave it up to you. Another person says, I'd avoid Seattle too, Pocket Aces. Thanks for being here, my friend, Pocket Aces. I love reading you on a daily basis. Colin says, you're the man, much respect. Thank you very much. Any day game predictions, Professor? Yeah, well, yes, it's actually coming. Alan Miles wants to know if I have predictions for the afternoon games. Well, I'm about to talk about 2 of those early games, so thanks for asking. Okay. Paul, I have a question about the free contest. If I were to win, I would much rather have a free week of your picks than the money, as I find your picks hold more value than the money. Well, thanks a lot for that comment, Paul. There's no problem. We can do that for sure. When someone wins a prize, I contact them via email. So if they win a cash prize, I ask for their PayPal email address. So in this case, you would simply have to tell me that you prefer to get picks for a week, and there's no problem. Oh, we have Ruben Nunez, who went heavy on the Yankees pick yesterday. So I'm glad that you crushed the bookies, man. That's really the #1 goal of this YouTube channel. If someone asks me what is the mission statement of the Professor MJ YouTube channel, it is to help my viewers grow their sports betting bankroll. It's as simple as that. All right, let's keep moving. We have Joe asking, how's Cooper? Yeah, I've reduced the number of times that I'm showing Cooper, and also my younger puppy Fiji, who are both golden retrievers. As you know, I'm a big golden retriever fan, so we love them so much that we decided to buy a second one, and both are doing great. Cooper has a bit of extra weight, I have to admit, so we're working on it. All right, let's keep moving with the 4th system pick. Oh, by the way, no, before we move to the 4th system pick, I simply forgot to tell you about, I told you in the introduction that we have another team that almost qualifies under a betting system. And in this case, the Twins almost qualify under the big upset number 1 system, which was also responsible for the Yankees and Mariners plays today. The only problem is their money line today is close to acceptable. We need them to have a money line below plus 125. And when I first looked at the odds this morning, their money line was plus 129, so they did not qualify. But still, that led me to take a look at this game. Now, Sonny Gray is facing Dustin May, and hey, Sonny Gray has been outstanding, man. He has allowed either 0 or 1 run in 7 of his 8 starts. Can you believe that? He has a 1.39 ERA. Now, his whip statistic is obviously great as well at 1.08, but you might be surprised to hear that his counterpart, Dustin May, has a better whip statistic than him at 0.94. Now, what concerns me, by the way, the Twins are playing at Dodger Stadium, and I think I wrote it down somewhere. Yeah, the last time that Sonny Gray played at Dodger Stadium was last August, and he was not great. He allowed 4 runs in 4 2/3 innings. So that's a source of concern to me. Also, I'm concerned about the way that the Twins play on the road and the way that the Dodgers play at home. So the Twins at home have a 14-8 record versus only 10-11 on the road. So again, that's more concern. While the Dodgers are much better at home with a 16-7 record, whereas at home they are close to 500. And also, Dustin May is almost as great as Sonny Gray, or probably about the same. He has allowed 2 runs or less in 7 of his 8 starts. So to me, there are way too many red flags in this game, and for this reason, I decided to discard the Twins. All right. Next. No, let me show you the pick right off the bat. The 4th system pick is backed by 2 different betting systems at the same time. And the pick in question is the Chicago Cubs playing at the Houston Astros. The 2 betting strategies responsible for this play are the hot bats number 1 and the pummeled pitchers. And I want to take this opportunity to talk to you about the pummeled pitchers, and we're going to verify together that the Chicago Cubs do indeed fit. So it basically recommends betting the visiting team so keep that in mind, the pummeled pitchers only applies to road teams. Now, if they either lost their last 2 games by allowing 9+ runs in each of those defeats, or they lost 3 straight games by allowing 7+ runs, or they lost their past 4 games by surrendering 6+ runs. As usual, you can see the profit made, the number of bets, the ROI over 7 years in my data set. All right, so let's look at the Cubs. And let me prove to you that they do fit under this system. Did they allow at least 9 runs in each of their last 2 defeats? No, they allowed 7 and 6. Now, the next criterion was to allow 7+ runs in 3 straight defeats. Again, that's not the case because they allowed 6 here against Houston 2 games ago. But the last criterion was to have lost 4 straight games, which is the case, by allowing at least 6 runs in each of them. As you can see, they allowed 11, 16, 6, and 7, which is abysmal. And for that reason, we expect them to rebound with a victory. Now, do I like this play enough to bet? Let's see what my notes are saying about this one. Well, first source of concern here, the Cubs during their past 12 road games, they have a 2-10 record. What? A 2-10 record during their past 12 road games. So that does not bode well. Now, against right-handed pitchers, they have a 1-6 record during their last 7 occasions. Again, that does not look good. The only good news is the pitching matchup. Drew Smyly has been great with a 0.97 whip statistic. Now, to be honest with you, I don't expect him to continue at such a great rate this year, but he's still a pretty good pitcher. Now, in all 7 of his he allowed 7 runs in his first start of the year, so that was a very bad opening outing for him. But then he allowed 2 runs or less in every other start. Now he's going to face JP France, who has given up just 1 run through 11 2/3 innings in his first 2 MLB starts. So he is off to a great career right now. Now again, I think he is due for a bad game. He could get hit pretty hard. So based on all those arguments, I'm going to make it a lean. Okay, I'm not excited enough to place a bet on the Cubs, who are pretty big underdogs today, but I really love the Yankees more yesterday, who had bigger odds than this. But I don't hate it, mainly due to the pitching matchup, which is quite good in favor of the Cubs, and also since I'm expecting JP France to possibly have his first bad outing. Now, you should also note that Houston, when they faced left-handed pitchers during the past 61 games, they have a 45-16 record, which is amazing. All right. Now, before I recap, I promised to you that I would have a bonus pick. So when I browse through all of the other games on the menu, there is one more team that caught my attention, and let me mention it to you. And it is the Colorado Rockies. Okay, they don't fit under any of my 19 systems, but I simply like what I'm reading and what the numbers are telling me. Now, the Rockies are playing much better baseball. Today they have a very reasonable price at -109 or maybe -110, depending on your sports book. They have posted a 10-5 record in their last 15 games, so that's very encouraging. Now let's talk about the pitchers. We have Graham Ashcraft facing Austin Gomber. Okay, so let's see what my notes have about this matchup. Ashcraft was really great in his first 6 games, but then he got roughed up in his last 2. He allowed 8 and 3 runs, and take a look at the opponents that he faced in those 2 outings where he struggled. The White Sox and the Marlins, who don't have great offenses. So to me, that's a source of concern. He was bad even though he faced some weaker opposition. Now, as far as Austin Gomber is concerned, he is going in the complete opposite direction. He was very bad in his first 4 starts. He allowed 3, 5, 5, and 9 runs. And then recently, he has allowed 0, 1, 2, and 3 runs. So in other words, so that's 6 runs allowed in his past 4 outings. So that's really great, and he seems to be turning the corner. He's facing the Reds, who are not that great. And in fact, in 6 career appearances against the Reds, Gomber has posted a surprisingly good 2.70 ERA. So we have a lot going on for the Rockies. They tend to play better baseball at home, while the Reds tend to struggle on the road. So in the end, well, maybe you might call me a chicken, but I'm going to make it a lean only. But if one of you was telling me, no, that's a good idea, I like the Rockies to win this game, I would not be against the idea. But so let's recap my picks for today. The official picks, there are two of them: the Yankees to beat the Blue Jays in Toronto, and the Brewers to beat the Cards in St. Louis. Both are very, very slight favorites. And as far as my leans are concerned, I would tend to go with the Cubs at plus 140 odds in Houston. And I would also take Colorado at home against the Reds. Let's see what you guys have to say. We'll maybe answer some questions. Someone is swearing at the Dodgers here. Swerve 95. Stinking Dodgers. Oh, John X says the Twins are at plus 115 odds. Wow, so the odds must have changed. Let me check that quickly. If that's the case, then I like the Twins even. Yeah, plus 115. Oh my God, yeah, no, I can definitely tell you that I'm not betting the Twins today. I don't like it at all. Oh, Pocket Aces says the Rockies are plus 100 on my book. Well, at this price, I would. Oh yeah, I see it with Bet365 as well. The line has changed. Well, you know what? I'm very tempted, very, very tempted to go with Colorado right now. We'll see what I do after I finish this live stream. Thanks for the information. Obviously, I'm sorry if the lines don't necessarily match what I say during the live stream, because those are the lines that I saw at maybe 9:30 a.m. when I was preparing my stuff. Okay. Do I have any questions? Colorado ruined my 6-game parlay last night, which is why I recommend avoiding parlays at all times. You see, that really upsets me. I mean, I know that parlays are exciting when you win them, but see, we have Swerve 95, who basically had a 5-1 record with his picks, but he lost his money. Whereas if he had placed straight bets, he would have obtained a 5-1 record. And I know some people say, yeah, but with parlays, you can boost your bankroll quickly. But the truth is, if you keep making parlays, you will lose money in the long run. Okay, that's guaranteed. So don't worry about growing your bankroll quickly. Okay, it's not going to happen anyway. So it's much better to grow your bankroll slowly. That may be boring, but it's better than losing money in my mind. You know, and the math really shows that parlay bets are bad. I know that some people are upset when I say this, but that's what the mathematics are telling you. So you could get mad at me as much as you can, but parlays are bad bets. It's as simple as that. So if you were wondering when you saw my recap, oh, should I take your recommendations in a parlay? The answer is no. It's always no to parlays, except when I want to look like a loser to a sports book. So, no, I'm not going to mention any specific sports book, but sometimes when I make gains and I feel like I could start getting banned or limited by a bookie, I place a few parlay bets so that I look like a normal gambler and to make the sportsbook manager believe that I'm a loser that got lucky. That may be the only exception when I make parlay bets. Michael Buelna is saying, hi, Professor, how are you? I'm great, man. Thanks for asking. No parlays, no teasers, just stop. I agree with you, man. Pocket Aces says, I'm a grinder, slow and steady, no parlays. You know, that's exactly the mindset that you guys should have. But obviously, it's your money. You guys can do whatever you want. If you like parlays and you find them fun, I fully understand that. And I'm not bashing people for making parlay bets. I'm just passing the information that they are bad bets because the bookie's commission is huge on those bets. You basically have no chance of being a winner. Suppose you make 3-team parlay bets every day. For 2 years, I could bet my house that you will be in the red after those 2 years. Now, there's always one person saying, yeah, one day I placed a 17 parlay and I won, and it was great, and we partied. Okay, we seem to be having a problem. Can you think we lost? You lost me for a little bit. Can you see me now? I feel like we're back. Yep, okay. Thank you, Ted Piano. I feel like we got cut off. Sorry about that. All right. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. Now I just want to end this live stream by inviting you to watch the video I made entitled How to Bet the NBA Playoffs, where I have 3 actionable strategies on how to bet the NBA playoffs, and they have helped us tremendously making some money during the NBA postseason. And that includes a tip on how to approach Game 7s in the NBA playoffs. Now, a big thank you for all of you for showing up for this second live stream. I appreciate it. Now, I am extremely likely to do one again next week, probably on Wednesday again. I will keep you posted. All right, so thanks very much for being here. This is Professor MJ saying so long.